Was back on the road for the Badgers on Saturday afternoon, making the trip down to Champaign to square off with the Illinois Fighting Illini. We'll check out some of the highlights from Saturday's matchup against Coach Brett Bielema's team. We'll sit down, of course, with head coach Luke Fickell, and we'll also have a conversation with quarterback Braden Locke. All coming up on today's edition of the Badger Sports Report. Jackson Aker in at running back now on first down. Locke back to throw, a little heat up the middle. Locke throws right side end zone. Pauling got it. Touchdown, Wisconsin. Will Pauling just went up and got it. And it's 21-16 as the Badgers pull within 5. DK wide lefts. Badgers overload, heavy on the right. Snap to Locke, looking to throw. Got a man wide open, left side, caught. Touchdown, Wisconsin. Little tackle eligible action as the Badgers take the lead with 27 seconds to play. It was Nolan Rucci, Hayden's little brother, who is a big man on campus right now.
Part of my job was to just kind of sit there for a few seconds and block and let the receivers drag the corners out, and then obviously ran upfield, and as soon as I saw that ball in the air, it just kind of felt like slow motion, and I just saw it in my hands and still couldn't believe when I caught it. It was pretty crazy.
Coach Longo said we were running it, and I looked at CJ. I was like, we're running it, and I was like, he's probably gonna be open because nobody's expecting that. So he executed, and Nolan made a great catch. Did his little bow, so I was happy for him.
They joked me on the sideline saying Nolan had the same amount of touchdowns as me, and he's playing a lot less than me. But that was awesome. We got to run the play in practice. Nolan did a great job in practice, and we got to see him here do it and win the game for us. That was really cool.
Let's go, man. Hey, you done my 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
The end around, Chimere Dike to the 10, to the 5, touchdown Wisconsin! Pass pops out of the air, it's picked off by Muma Jameta. He's gone! Braylon Allen all the way! Touchdown, Wisconsin! And it's picked off by Hunter Waller. There is a big, big win for the Wisconsin Badgers.
The Badger Sports Report is presented by UW Health. UW Health Sports Medicine, treating the Badgers, treating you. And is brought to you by the Construction Business Group, Wisconsin operating engineers and respected contractors. BuildingWisconsinTogether.com. And by Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. One call, that's all.
After a serious accident, you'll need a team to fight for the results you deserve. We're here for you whenever you need us. Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. One call, that's all.
I've always been a storyteller. I capture those beautiful moments, things other people miss. My health took an unexpected turn, but my care team put my needs in focus, designing solutions to support my ambitions. Now that's just a footnote in my journey, a small part of a story that's still being written. UW Health, remarkable.
Something big is happening. Introducing Hy-Vee Perks. Now, Hy-Vee Fuel Saver is Hy-Vee Perks. Get the same great benefits like fuel savings. Plus, save even more on hundreds of products store-wide with H Perks prices. Like Tide, H Perks price $9.97. And bananas, H Perks price 39 cents a pound. Make this switch or sign up today. It's free and easy.
These are operating engineers. They operate top-of-the-line, innovative machines and build stuff that matters. And operating engineers are well paid. They even get paid to train. As an apprentice, you can make $56,000 a year from day one. During training, no school loans and no debt. When your training is complete, you'll have a stable career job that is high skill, high tech, and high pay. We need operating engineers right now. Your future can begin today.
After a serious accident, you'll need a team to fight for the results you deserve. We're here for you whenever you need us. Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. One call, that's all.
3rd and 10 for the Badgers at their own 39-yard line. Snap to Locke, back to throw, looking, throws over the middle, wide open, Pauling the catch, 35-yard line, Pauling to the 30 of Illinois. It's covered up at the 29-yard line. 1st and 10, Locke back to throw, fires to the right, that's caught by Williams at the 15, out of bounds at the 10-yard line of the near side. Tight end, snap to Locke, hands off Allen, up the middle, touchdown, Braylon Allen. And we have ourselves a game in Champaign. 1st and 10, Braylon Allen lines up to the left of Braden Locke, and the handoff to Allen, room up the middle, 25, Allen 30, cutting right, 35-40, Allen 45 to the 50, Allen runs over C.J. Williams. Braylon Allen pops it down to the 45 of Illinois on a gain of 30. 3rd down and 4 at the Wisconsin 48-yard line. Altmaier back to throw, looking under some pressure, flush to his left, being chased, being sacked by Muma Jungmeta. Snap to Altmaier, Badgers rush 4, Altmaier tight pocket flush left, looking down he goes, inside the 40-yard line of Illinois, as this time they get home on the Illini quarterback. Here we go. Altmaier back to throw, under some pressure, winds it up, under pressure, down he goes, and the Badgers will win it.
Thought it was a great example of complementary football, team football. You know, that's what we talk about all the time in our locker room. And we're just really proud of our team to finish this game the way that we needed to and get a win that we really needed.
We had a lot of ups and downs. Didn't play very well, come on off of last week. This is what we needed, you know, a huge team win like this. And it took every single one of us. And I can't be more proud of the guys for what we were able to do. You know, it's not easy winning on the road at all. And to do what we did, come back from 21-7, it's awesome. And I love this group.
Poise and confidence. His first start and, you know, having a comeback win and, you know, taking control of the offense in multiple critical situations. I think that speaks to the preparation that he put in and the confidence that he has in himself and throwing the ball down the field. You know, it shows confidence that he has in his receivers.
The fire, he had a little bit of fire in his eyes those last few drives. Him and as well as Braylon, that whole fourth quarter, they saw something different in their eyes, and I feel like they executed and played very well in that fourth quarter.
After I seen the look, like I said, me and Braden, practice those throws almost every day in practice. Those, little two fade balls from the slot. And once I seen the look and I seen, the situation, I knew Braden was probably going to give me a chance, and I just, had to make a play.
It's kind of a drill that we work every single day at the beginning of practice. Just kind of that over-the-shoulder catch. Thought it was a great job by Skylar. We had the wind at our back. I know the ball was kind of fluttering all afternoon. He had single coverage and ran a great route, made a great play when we needed it the most.
They're winning, same after a loss, but in the reverse, you never want to get too high or a loss too low. And, super proud of the guys coming out and fighting. I think we showed the big-time character of the team in this win. And just being able to build off of that going into next week's going to be critical, being at home. But, yeah, proud of the guys and the fight that we had. And, no quit. Like, we've done it before now. Now we know that's who we are.
We believe in education. We believe in public schools. We believe in financial security for Wisconsin public school employees and their families. WEA Member Benefits, proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. WEABenefits.com.
My favorite breakfast is Odyssey yogurt. I asked Mommy where it comes from, and she took me to a dairy farm to learn all about milk and, most importantly, cows. Wisconsin cows are definitely the happiest, which means they make the tastiest yogurt. My favorite is blueberry. What's your flavor? Support your local farmers. EIEI Odyssey.
I had big dreams. Then I got sick. UW Health made it their mission to give me a fresh start and a new kidney. Now my dreams are infinite. UW Health. Remarkable.
As the Badgers get into the second half of the season, thought this would be a pretty good time to revisit the philosophy of strength and conditioning. We visit with Brady Collins, but he's a popular media request when you get into the summer months or fall camp. We don't have Brady here, but we have the head coach here to talk a little bit about the philosophy of it. And Coach, give us an idea of what it's like, what you and Brady want out of your guys at this time of year, and and whether that philosophy maybe has changed a little bit over the course of time.
Well, I think it's twofold. I think when you're talking about the guys that are playing, the guys that are doing the bulk of the work, it is a lot about maintenance. And not that they can't get stronger during the season, but it's the ability to not decrease in your weight and obviously in your strength. So those guys are on a little bit of a different plan, whether it's twice or 3 times a week, and being smart with guys based on a Sunday after a game. I think the uniqueness for us is it's the 4 and 5 days a week for the young guys, the 6 a.m. for basically every freshman, just to make sure that they understand there's a lot of things that are built in that room, and it's not just your shoulders and your chest and your legs, but just the toughness and the mindset behind what it is that you have to do. And those guys do an unbelievable job. If you come in any day at 6 in the morning to see a large crew of guys that maybe don't play on Saturday or don't play much, that are in there grinding it out every day.
With every sport, obviously, especially with football, you hear a lot of talk about the weight room. I'm holding this because I want to give you part of a Bill Parcells quote. You all know who Bill Parcells is, right? The weight room is our culture. And he ends a quote by saying, if it isn't important to you, it will be to the person I replace you with. I would imagine any coach or strength and conditioning coordinator who hears that line probably smiling, thinking, yep, very true.
It is. And the first thing as our coaches came in, I said, you better make sure you understand, you better get a relationship with those guys in the weight room, whether it's Brady or his entire staff, because we're not around the guys maybe in the summer and some of those things as much, and you better be able to communicate and talk with those guys because they've got a beat on everything that goes on within our program. They've got a beat on our players, just where they are, how they're feeling, and things like that. Not just about how important the actual weight room is, but that relationship in there, and what our coaches and myself in particular can get from the feedback from those guys.
I was just gonna go there because obviously with position coaches, they know what it's like in their own room, but the pulse of a team in a lot of ways, you get that from someone like Brady Collins, right?
I do for sure, but I think that the uniqueness of what our guys have done and everywhere that I've been, those guys have the relationship with the players, and it's a different relationship, meaning sometimes the coach's relationship is difficult, especially during a season because there's playing time, there's opportunities, where those guys down there, they're all about work, they're all about development. Those guys see their bodies and everything change no matter what it is that they're doing, no matter how good of a player they are, if they're a young guy or they're an old guy. And so that relationship down there is unique. And those guys do as much of mental work with our guys, just helping them to relax and some things like that, opening up to each other as anybody else in our staff.
It's been interesting with high school programs. I don't cover high school sports anymore, but I still notice there are a lot of programs now with strength coaches, which is a lot different from way back when I was in high school or whatever. Are you noticing, every school is different, probably players from different backgrounds, but are you seeing a trend where young guys are coming in here and they know what they're doing in a weight room?
Yeah, they do, but what you're looking for really, because what you're going to do is going to be a little bit different. So to me, all you want from a guy coming out of high school is to be healthy. You know what I mean? To not be so caught up with just the bench press or certain things. So you're seeing a guy's a lot more well-rounded as they walk into college because there are obviously some emphasis put in high schools on having guys that have strength programs, that have full-time strength coaches, so that they have balance to their guys as opposed to being that guy in high school that just wants to go in the weight room and see how much he can bench on a daily basis.
That happened all the time, probably with you, right? There's what are you maxing today? That wasn't all that long ago.
Thank goodness I was in the other so many sports and 3 sports in high school that I didn't maybe create some of those bad habits in the weight room, but there's no doubt. It was, as I was in school, it was run by the football coach, and and in whatever sport you're in, it's kind of run by that. And that's difficult because everybody wants their own guys. And I think some of the better things they've done in high school is by having a strength coach that can kind of, evolve in what season you're in, what season you're not in. And I think it just gives you a lot more flexibility for when guys come to the next level.
There's nothing like, and we visited with Brady on this and with Devin Spalding on your radio show a few weeks ago about young running backs. You got the young man Nate White out of Milwaukee. There's something about being in a weight room where a guy who might come in kind of thin, but all of a sudden there's one day you look in the mirror and they look a little bit different, and that is an unbelievable motivator.
It is, and that's why that relationship down there with those guys is uniquely different because no matter what, if the kid's not seeing any playing time, or if he's just getting beat up on some of the scout, he still sees himself developing in that area, and that makes him feel good, and that builds that relationship. And but it's a critical part of what it is that we do, and not just getting stronger, but also building that culture of toughness and what it's like when it's 6 a.m. and you're the only other couple guys in there, and it's every single day. Just you find out what your dedication is to this incredible sport.
All right, there is a glimpse of the philosophy here of Wisconsin football about strength and conditioning as the season is progressing. Stay with us. We'll take a break. More to come on this week's edition of the Badger Sports Report.
After a serious accident, you'll need a team to fight for the results you deserve. We're here for you whenever you need us. Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. One call, that's all.
Something big is happening. Introducing Hy-Vee Perks. Now, Hy-Vee Fuel Saver is Hy-Vee Perks. Get the same great benefits like fuel savings. Plus, save even more on hundreds of products store-wide with H Perks prices. Like Tide, H Perks price $9.97. And bananas, H Perks price 39 cents a pound. Make the switch or sign up today. It's free and easy.
WEA Member Benefits, dedicated to helping Wisconsin public school employees become financially secure with programs designed for the education community. Proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics, WEAbenefits.com.
Pretty well documented, there is a lot of talent in the quarterback room. We have obviously seen Tanner Mordecai, there is Nick Evers, there is Miles Burkett, there is Cole Crew. We can keep going, and there's this young man to my right, your left, Braden Locke, redshirt freshman, Rockwall, Texas, transfer from Mississippi State. Obviously things have changed a little bit in your world in a way. But if you're a 2 or a 1, the way you approach it probably hasn't changed a ton, has it?
Right. I mean, every single week, you want to prepare like you're the starter. And me and Tanner have very similar process. And, luckily for me, we've become really good friends in this deal, and we have very good dynamic, and we talk a lot. And so even throughout, this week at preparing as the starter going into the game, he's right there by my side. And on top of that, my routine isn't going to change any different. It's just having the mentality knowing, you're going to be out there on Saturday being counted on and all that.
When you got here, it probably speaks for all the transfers. When you arrived here from Mississippi State, how long did it take you to feel like, yeah, this is a good fit for me, teammates great, quarterback room great? Was it something that happened fairly quickly?
I would say it happened very quickly, yeah. And this is one thing that always caught me or struck me off guard was just how welcoming these guys are. We have a really great bond in that locker room, and it definitely didn't take long to develop that with those guys. Everybody on this team is pulling from the same side of the rope, and all we care about is getting the win on Saturday. And then from a schematic standpoint, playing football, me and Coach Longo, he goes back to recruiting me in high school. Obviously, we have air raid ties and all of that, and so we see the game very similarly. And there wasn't a lot of turnover. There's a little bit of differences in what we do, but especially in the passing game, it's very, very similar to what we did at Mississippi State.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that because obviously the late Mike Leach, obviously you had the chance to be with him for a year. Coach Longo's relationship well documented. There are different flavors, I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it, to the air raid. So there are some similarities, but maybe some differences to what you guys were doing last year in Starkville compared to now. Is that fair?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, obviously there's more emphasis on the gap scheme, run game. When you have guys like Braylon Allen and you have an offensive line like we do, you got to take advantage of that. And Coach Longo has done it at every place that he's been. But that's one thing that we didn't really dabble in at Mississippi State. There's a little bit more complexity to what we do and a little bit more multiplicity. But from a air raid principle standpoint, very, very similar. We want to attack grass. We want to find space, and the concepts. A lot of the concepts. There's a lot of carryover from our system at Mississippi State. However, like I said, there's more complexity. There's more emphasis in the run game, and there's more multiplicity.
I mentioned where you're from, Rockwall, Texas. Some fans probably know this. I'm guessing some don't. Record-setting quarterback, by the way, 128 career touchdown passes. That's a state record down there in your class. It's pretty good targets. Jackson Smith and Jigba, you might remember him from Ohio State days. I would imagine it goes deeper than that, but that'd be a lot of fun throwing it around to guys like that.
Yeah, some of my best memories. I mean, that guy, he's incredible. He's I've never played with anyone like him, especially at the high school level. You know, he did so much for me in my development. You know, I was a young guy playing with him as a senior, and just understanding what it took to win at that level and be dominant at that level. He did so much for me during that time. So so much credit to him, and obviously miss playing with him. But I mean, it's been so awesome to see his success. And you know, one thing that's cool about Jackson is he never you know, forgets where he's from, and he always, you know, pays respect to our hometown. And you know, that's something that, you know, if I was to ever be in his shoes or anywhere close to that, you know, that's something I would definitely want to keep, you know, at the forefront.
It's one of the fun things with just as an observer watching guys. You know, I was going to ask you about Texas high school football. The Florida guys love to talk about the football there. Obviously, the Wisconsin guys will talk about it here. California guys, there's still a lot of that back and forth that goes on in the locker room.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, between me and CJ and Jonas Cicluna and Rico, like, yeah, it goes back and forth. I mean, I think those guys, they ought to know where the best ball's played at, but whatever.
So I can imagine Ricardo Holman's response to that. We talked to him. He claims to be the funniest guy in the team. Is that where are you on that?
It's hard. Yeah, I mean, he's up there.
Okay.
He needs DP in the room, but he's up there.
well played.
Yeah.
Well played. Cowboys fan, I assume?
Big one, yeah.
Okay, absolutely. Quarterback, I mean, were you, like, growing up, was there one in particular, if it was, you know, the Cowboys or anywhere else, you thought, I like the way he goes about his business?
Quarterback-wise?
Yeah, quarterback-wise.
Man, as a young kid, I was a huge Peyton Manning fan. Obviously, he retired years ago, but I always thought, like, his preparation, the way he played the game, you know, the way he was always in command. You know, he'd walk up and tell all 10 other guys what to do, and, like, I thought that was so cool. You know, like, I used to watch as much as I could of him. Just, I love how demonstrative he was, how in charge. You know, he prepared well. You know, I love the stories about him. So that was probably, as a kid, that was probably, like, the guy that I watched the most.
Yeah, that's pretty good guy to look up to. Final thought here, Braden, on this year's team, this group of receivers. It's a lot of talent. It's developing. You got, you know, CJ, obviously, could be really good. Bryson Green, strong physical guy. Will Pauling. Feel pretty good about that group, don't you?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I feel very confident in our guys. And I think, you know, we are putting things together each week. I think we've seen glimpses of it as we've gone through this season. You know, and we're just trying to play clean football, put a complete performance together on Saturday. But, you know, I love the guys in the receiver room, and I love the guys in the tight end room and the RB room. So from a skill player standpoint, you know, I feel very good about what we have and what we're going to do going forward. A lot of confidence in those guys, and the thing that, you know, they care about our performance on Saturday. They want to go out there and win. And like I said, we've got 11 guys on offense pulling from the same side of the rope every time we go out there. So there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to put things together and put a good performance together on Saturday.
Yeah, no doubt. By the way, the leader of that receiving corps, don't want to omit him, Chimere Dike, of course, really good receiver for this Wisconsin team. Really gifted quarterback right here. Appreciate it, Braden.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Badgers quarterback Braden Locke. Stay with us. We'll take a break. More to come right after this.
I had big dreams. Then I got sick. UW Health made it their mission to give me a fresh start and a new kidney. Now my dreams are infinite. UW Health. Remarkable.
These are operating engineers. They operate top-of-the-line innovative machines and build stuff that matters. And operating engineers are well paid. They even get paid to train. As an apprentice, you can make $56,000 a year from day one during training. No school loans and no debt. When your training is complete, you'll have a stable career job that is high skill, high tech, and high pay. We need operating engineers right now. Your future can begin today.
After a serious accident, you'll need a team to fight for the results you deserve. We're here for you whenever you need us. Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. One call, that's all.
The Badger Sports Report is presented by UW Health. UW Health Sports Medicine, treating the Badgers, treating you. And is brought to you by the Construction Business Group, Wisconsin operating engineers and respected contractors. BuildingWisconsinTogether.com. And by Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. One call, that's all.
Up next, a Saturday night matchup at Camp Randall Stadium against the Ohio State Buckeyes. That program's first visit to Camp Randall since 2016. Kickoff will be at 6:30 Central Time. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for watching.
This has been a presentation from Learfield.
I've always been a storyteller. I capture those beautiful moments, things other people miss. My health took an unexpected turn, but my care team put my needs in focus, designing solutions to support my ambitions. Now that's just a footnote in my journey, a small part of a story that's still being written. UW Health, remarkable.
We believe in education. We believe in public schools. At WEA Member Benefits, we believe in helping Wisconsin public school employees and their families achieve their financial goals by providing personal insurance, retirement and investment, and financial planning programs that are designed specifically for the education community. Proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics, WEAbenefits.com.
My favorite breakfast is Odyssey yogurt. I asked Mommy where it comes from, and she took me to a dairy farm to learn all about milk and, most importantly, cows. Wisconsin cows are definitely the happiest, which means they make the tastiest yogurt. My favorite is blueberry. What's your flavor? Support your local farmers. EIEI Odyssey.